Myers setting a new mark and trying to add to it from 26. That's his 5th field goal. He sets a Super Bowl record for the most field goals in a game.
And I thank them, and we are incredibly blessed to be Seahawks, to be 12s, and now we're world champions.
Congratulations again, Coach. I want to bring up the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, ladies and gentlemen.
And now we're world champions.
Congratulations again, Coach. I want to bring up the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, ladies and gentlemen. The Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, ladies and gentlemen.
Je sais pas, monte dans l'avion direct, aéroport. J'ai pas beaucoup de cash, ça ne va pas.
Super Bowl 60 was a little quirky, wasn't it? To having 2 halftime shows, a boring 3 quarters, Trump tweeting nonstop, dancing trees, and that damn yellow Gatorade. In a time where America feels more divided than ever, a Super Bowl is supposed to be the place where your Uncle Billy Bob shares a Bud Light with your shun cousin's black husband during the halftime show. But unfortunately, there's 2 TVs at the family get-together this time, and Bad Bunny's halftime show is on in the backyard, while Charlie Kirk's halftime show is being shown in the living room. You know, I'm pretty on the fence political these days, because A, I'm a coward with no strong opinions, but more importantly, B, I don't have much information or honestly enough interest to pretend I know what I'm talking about like majority of you. That said, I genuinely don't understand the uproar over who sings at the Super Bowl. Like we're forming battle lines over a halftime show. There was literally a competing alternative halftime show. That is strange. Granted, that one pulled over 5 million viewers, so clearly there's a sizable group of people who feel passionately about who holds a microphone for 12 minutes. This may be subjective, but I don't see much of a difference between the past 2 halftime shows. I can't understand a word they're saying. Don't hurt me. One of the NFL's long-term goals is to grow American football into a truly global sport, and what better way to do that than by showcasing one of the world's biggest music stars on the Super Bowl halftime stage? I mean, seriously, what is more American than actively pursuing global expansion? And this is a good thing. In my opinion, American football is the most entertaining sport to watch besides the whole CTE thing. But you know, that's probably just all in their head. Football is one of those sports where you can turn almost anything into an insane highlight. There could be a ridiculous touchdown, a crazy run, an important block, interceptions, tackles, fumbles, or a much-needed sack. I'm sure if football existed in the Roman era, it would have been the main event in the Coliseum. But how did football become such a controversial event? The Super Bowl, one of America's biggest spectacles, somehow got turned into a political battleground instead of just a football game. Personally, I found the outrage to be kind of hilarious. So why not poke the bear? Let's make the hoes mad, as the kids would say. Maybe it's time I step off my white picket fence and attempt to view Super Bowl 60 through a different lens. That's right. America better win that foot race or that silly rabbit is going to be sent to the gulag. I honestly felt the halftime show was decent. You know, at least when comparing to the previous 10 that we've watched. Hey, I know the song. I personally liked the surprise guests that came on, with Lady Gaga showing up out of nowhere, paying respect to the Hispanic culture, doing her little jig, and sexy-ass Ricky Martin proving that humans can age backwards. With Karol G, Jessica Alba, Pedro Pascal, and Cardi B each appearing during the set, I was hoping to see my favorite female rapper at the performance, but I didn't get to see her.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin.
Oh, Oh, right. A major point of interest during these shows is how the artists and the production team sets the scene. It looks like this year's stage was to illustrate a surreal journey representing Latino people, which kind of reminded me of every vacation I've been on in a Latin country. Granted, I am just a saltine cracker wearing the basic white gown and gringo hat, never really stepping foot outside of the resort, but it was refreshing to shift the viewer's perspective. Watching him pass vendors paying homage to everyday people, then arriving at a rural home where a real wedding ceremony and celebration unfolded, incorporating several references to the architecture and the infrastructure of the culture. Oh, and we can't forget the transformation of the landscape to the Puerto Ricans' grassy fields. The trees are speaking Vietnamese, or in this case, Spanish.
Meanwhile,
Man, Cooper Allen was right.
'Cause I can't dance worth shit.
You know, I try to be unbiased in everything in my life, but I honestly can't seem to figure out why it's so important to think that there is anything wrong with the halftime show decision. That there's a need for an alternative halftime show, mostly just because the dude speaks Spanish. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't know a single person that doesn't wish they spoke a different language. Like, Oni-chan. It's not that serious. Please, anyone in the audience, I really want you to dig deep and show me exactly what is wrong with this performance. Sir, we have some horrible news. Your Polymarket bet on whether Bad Bunny would perform at the Super Bowl has fell through. I thought you were going to convince the commissioner to headline Kid Rock at the halftime show.
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally.
Okay, that's not what I asked. Anyways, sir, did you see the halftime show performance?
And I like China, and I like President Xi a lot. I think he's a friend of mine.
Sir, China is old news. We're talking about the enemies south of the border.
I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller.
That's great, Mr. President, but we just need you to speak the truth to the American people now. Please send out the truth by the end of the day.
2 hours later.
The Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever.
I don't know, have you seen the halftime show in 1970?
Nobody understands a word this guy is saying.
God bless America.
But he said the thing.
And the dancing is disgusting.
Oh, come on, man. That was my favorite part.
This show is just a slap in the face to our country, which is setting new standards and records every single day.
Which, ironically, his performance did help boost Super Bowl 60 to the highest peak viewership in U.S. TV history.
By the way, the NFL should immediately replace its ridiculous new kickoff rule, Make America Great Again.
Sir, are you not going to speak on the scene that set off our alarm?
Hashtag UK cigarettes.
You know, my hope is that there are enough people out there that don't take all this shit too seriously, and that we can laugh at the absurdity of individuals taking things just too far. But that's enough talk about a topic that will eventually get me beat up. Let's migrate this discussion over to the actual game. Come on, water. There's nothing more hydrating than water, right? I mean, come on, dude. I mean, it has to be water. Fuck! Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. An interesting matchup, to say the least. I would say it's refreshing not to see the Eagles or the Chiefs in the finals.
And that has been the difference so far in the first half. You know, when I first saw it, I almost screamed, Patrick Mahomes!
It was more than expected that this was going to be a defensive game, but damn. I did not expect that the first 3 quarters would put the foot in football. The Seahawks shovel out the most amount of money towards their special teams more than any other team, and it really showed by both Myers and the punters' performances throughout the game. Jason Myers especially. Myers ended up scoring 17 of the 29 total points for the Seahawks, and also achieving a Super Bowl record with 5 field goals. Everyone was kind of hoping that he was going to be a Super Bowl MVP.
I want to bring up the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker.
Yet the football fantasy menace, Kenneth Walker, stole his glory. I freaking drafted this man, Kenneth Walker, on my fantasy team this year. Dude was putting up an average of like 9 points per game, and only after the fantasy regular season this man took off. Why did this man forsaken me? Oh, right. Anyways, congrats to him. He probably deserved it. He put up a whopping 161 total yards to seal out the game. I sort of wish he helped complete my 7-leg parlay, but you know, I wasn't the only one sacrificing a leg to propel Walker's career.
3、2、1
In the latest tobacco industry news, the grandson of the Marlboro Man, aka Dick Hammer, has cemented himself as the greatest NFL quarterback from his draft class. And that is the legend himself, Sam Ginger Jesus Darnold. Big D Darnold smoked the butts of his former draft mates Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and we can't forget Josh Rosen.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Who?
He became the first quarterback from the highly touted 2018 NFL draft class to win a Super Bowl. Does Josh Rosen really need to be mentioned here? You know, it wasn't his greatest performance, but I don't think I've seen a man take so many hits with only getting 1 sack. Dude was getting blitzed like 50% of the time the whole game, so I can't blame him. Oh man, poor Drake May, the white hope. Dude was taking so many sacks, he might as well began playing with his own.
I think it got hit. No. And it really wasn't that close.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I was playing with my ball set. I'm being so serious.
And also, the prophecy has been fulfilled. Apparently, with every new pope being elected, the Seahawks either made it to or won the Super Bowl. Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure what prophecy Mac Hollins was looking to fulfill with this entrance. Or maybe it's just a metaphor for his potential future. I mean, dude practices without his shoes on. That's got to be criminal. We unfortunately didn't get to see much of the offensive player of the year during the game.
Jackson Smith Njigba. Nigaba.
Or should I say, offensive player of the year. Laugh. It appeared his head may have made contact to the ground during a play in the third quarter, eventually having to head to the locker room. But to be honest, I was already 6 beers deep and the Patriots had a goose egg by the end of the third, so I was basically checked out during the rest of the game. Although my favorite moment of the game was the final play. You see Love tackles Henderson and sort of just holds him there. Dude gets up all angry at the ref with 4 seconds on the clock like he's about to pull the greatest miracle in Super Bowl history. Does he think he's Tom Brady or something? All in all, the Super Bowl this year, it was absolutely cinema. And in cinema, you've got your slow burns. You've got your villains. Take care of your kids. You've got your what if moments. You've got your heroes. You've got the cameraman who somehow survives everything and still delivers the perfect action shot. You've got the internal conflict. And most importantly, you've got the critics. Love it, hate it, write a freaking dissertation about it. Just remember, this is football. Have a laugh, it's really not that deep. But if you do take it that deep, maybe it's time for a walk on the beach. You know, get some fresh air. Finish that book you've been reading, or maybe do your own research. Form your own opinion instead of mirroring others. But the most important thing I'll tell you, and I really need you to lean in for this one, the most important thing you need to hear is, go fuck yourself.
Recuerdos míos de esa noche.